Hey marketing leaders, what's up? Today I'm bringing you 7 actions that will fix your website in one day. Before you actually hold my word for it, I need to tell you, it depends how easily you can change your website. So if you are using a content management system like WordPress, brilliant. Or if you have a developer hidden in your wardrobe that you can always take out and use, brilliant. But other than that, it probably won't be one day. But anyway, let's get on with it and see if we can help you fix your website very quickly. First of all, this is a big one. Face common design principles. You have to validate if your website is meeting those common design principles. And I'm running quickly to tell you what they are. There is a great book, Don't Make Me Think, which tell you all about design principles, and a few of them come handy in this video. First of all, when a user lands on your website, they ask 3 questions. Where am I? What do I do? What do they do? And how do I search? In other words, the user tries to understand in the position that they found themselves in, and if that position is of any benefit to them. And that's where you come in. You have to serve the information to them at the right time before they leave, because online you unfortunately don't get second chances, so it's important to fill those gaps. Let's break this down. The user asks, where am I? You got the logo. That's all. They probably search the internet with some kind of intent, and sometimes it might not even mean to them much where they are. It depends with what was the intent. If they're looking for some kind of list of things to do, to watch, like, it doesn't matter who tells them the list to do unless they're looking for some kind of authority on the subject. But for B2B websites, we need to build that trust, we need to increase that brand awareness, we need to establish that emotional connection with the user. So logo and everything around it is really important. Don't reinvent the wheel. Keep the logo in the top left corner. Don't be clever about it. Just keep it there. That's fine. It works. Next one, they ask themselves, what do you do as a business? Like, what do they do? Simple as that, right? Because they came to your website for something and they try to assess if they are in the right place. So that's where you come in place and explain to them your value proposition as quickly as possible. And that's why it's really important. And that is a main topic point in any workshops that we run at NerdCow. Like, how do we communicate? What do we do? Because it's not that easy, and you probably know that better than anyone. When they land on your homepage or whatever landing page that is, get that across as soon as possible. You get your logo, but then eyes travel down the page a bit towards the middle, asking, okay, do I understand what they do? Does it help me at all with my query or with my need? So value proposition above the fold on the landing page, just get it done. No questions asked. Finally, how do I search? And in the book, Don't Make Me Think, you will find an emphasis on the search box, but I understand not every website has one. So what I will say instead is organize your navigation in a logical order. You can use tree testing for it, or you can use your expertise or any kind of insight you have, but make sure your navigation makes sense. It's not overcrowded. It's up to 7 items on the main level, not in drop downs, but on the main level. And when it comes to drop downs, no more than 2 levels deep. So ideally, you will want just have 1 level. If you really have to get to the nitty gritty of it in the navigation, which I doubt you have to, you can use 2nd level. In a situation where you actually need to tell a bit more in the navigation because you have so much to offer, you might want to consider mega menu. And there are plenty of great examples of mega menus if you Google them up, so you can take advantage of it. However, if you don't have mega menu right now, it's unlikely that you can edit it in one day. I mean, again, depends on your resources. It might not be that quick. You would still have to come up with the way to organize it and then to design it, to code it, launch it, test it, blah, 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 etc. So it takes time. That's what I want to say. However, if your navigation is easily editable, just stick to it. Stick to what you have. I always preach that quick fixes, quick changes, quick iterations to learn from are always best. They always trump the long waiting times, long production cycles. Just do what you can, work with tools that you have right now, improve that navigation to tell people how to search the information they need, and you will have ticked all the common design principles checkboxes on your list, and we can move to the next point. Call to actions, text and colors. If you watched a previous video about primary buttons, you will know a bit more, but just to very quickly recap, call to actions are important, like really, probably the most important element on your website, so you can't get it wrong. In short, make sure you have one primary action per every page, and any other action on the page is either indicated with a secondary button that's hopefully different in aesthetics and looks, and perhaps tertiary button in the form of an inline link. You have a paragraph, but then maybe a word could be linked to another resource that's relevant to the reader. But basically, make sure you have call to actions right. One final note on the text on the buttons, make sure they actually call to action. So use verbs. Don't shy away from that. Use verbs. You will see more clicks, more engagement. Trust me. Next one is, you might not like it if you are working with an old website, remove sliders. We tested it and we read many papers. The sliders just don't work. People don't click sliders much. They perhaps navigate to the second slider, but then they just lose interest. So if there's anything important to say it up front. Don't hide it in the form of slider. There's just no point. You will waste an opportunity to communicate with your reader. Next, if it wasn't obvious, add social proof. People rely on reviews from other buyers. They will want to hear from people who tried your services or your product. So add your social proof everywhere. Really, that's probably one of the strongest forces you can use to convert your traffic. Any kind of testimonial, video testimonials, oh my God, they're brilliant. Any kind of badge from Trustpilot, like any other reviewing service, will work brilliant. And frankly, even if you have any kind of content that shows your team's expertise, that also helps. It helps to build trust with your brand. That's all we want, really. Next on the list is team page. And this is something I've learned by testing, oh my God, tens and tens of pages for B2B clients that we build at NerdCow. Is that people really want to know who's behind it. Is the first thing, almost the first thing they do. Maybe in our case, when we tested our own website, our visitors wanted to know the work that we did, because the work that we produce, our portfolio, it speaks volume. It speaks to our expertise. So that was the first thing. But then the question is, okay, who's behind it? And that's where they go to About page. I want to learn about your team. If your team is big, then maybe leadership is enough. For us, we're a small boutique agency, so we present everyone on the team and let people learn more about them, connect with them on LinkedIn, catch up on Twitter, and even download a headshot. If you are from press and you want to quote us or whatever, we just make it easy for you. Team page, revise it, see if it's up to date, and we can move to the next point. Internal linking, I mentioned that on the topic of a button, but internal linking is a fantastic tool for SEO and for improving user experience. We believe in a rule that you shouldn't enforce any way to navigate your website on the user. It should be natural, because every one of us navigate internet differently, and so therefore there's no one way that's right to go about it. So we try to introduce as many opportunities to click through the website and get to the point where you're satisfied or the user is satisfied. And one way to do it is to introduce interlinking. It's a fancy word for literally having links in the text. That's all there is to it. You simply just have a look on your homepage. If there's any word, paragraph, phrase that someone might get hung up on, link it to somewhere that explains it a bit more, hopefully on your website, just to keep them within your brand and get them attached to your brand as much as possible. But yeah, just create those links, create that web of content on your page, and not only users will thank you for it, but your SEO will thank you for it too. And finally, and that depends on your capability to edit your website, whether you use CRM or you use any forms on your website that are hard-coded, or provided by any plugin, you should focus on your forms and keep them simple. In other words, ideally, you will only want to ask for the information that's absolutely necessary, because the more information you ask for, the more friction from the user you're going to get, because the user knows that they effectively give away their information, more and more of it, for something in return. And they will keep asking themselves a question, is it worth it? If you can get away with asking them for the first name and email, leave it at that. If you need a little more from them, like company name, try to assess if this is something that really helps you internally to approach them better and serve them better, whatever they're asking for. If it's not needed, maybe scrap it. Don't leave it as optional. Remove it, delete it, hide it, and you will see that the number of conversions on those forms will skyrocket. Trust me. Simplify your forms and you'll be good. Just to very quickly recap, that's all I had, but basically make sure you have those common design principles sorted. Try to answer the questions of where am I, what do they do, and how do I search as soon as possible. Then you will want to have call to action sorted. You will have to remove sliders, unfortunately, sorry. They're no longer trendy or helpful at all. Add social proof to your website everywhere. Can be a testimonial, can be something from your team. You can have team page that's up to date. That helps because from our tests and from our experience, users will navigate to about page to learn more who's behind the product. You will want to have internal linking as much as possible to create the web of content that people can just surf around however they like. And finally, keep those forms simple. If you do all those 7 things, I promise you, you will see increase in conversions on your website. That's really it from me. If there's anything else that I could add to the list, do let me know. But for now, thanks so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.